Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Recalculating Your Map to Joy podcast, the show about how career zigzags aren't detours or wrong turns, but actually create our path to joyful work and joyful lives. I'm Marie Clark, a career transition coach and possibility partner, and I help women move from careers that drain them to ones that light them up without losing their identity or their income. If you're sitting in a job right now that fills your wallet but is slowly sucking your soul, this podcast is for you because my guest today has been exactly where you are. So, if you need to hear this story, give us a thumbs up and tag a friend who might also need to hear, because I am so excited to introduce our guest today. So, this is Jeannie Zappe. She is a motivational speaker, a marathon swimmer, which I can't wait for our audience to find out what that is, and a coach. And you've had some very interesting zigzags, both in your career and in your life. What? Life wasn't always that way for you, Jeannie. So welcome.
I'm so glad to be here, Marie, with you and happy to share my story.
Yeah. So give me the 30-second or maybe 60-second version of your career zigzag. Where did you start and where did you land?
Well, it's funny that you might know what you want to be or what you're meant to be or what you're made to be, maybe when you're 17 or 18. I was a swim coach, a summer swim coach, the summers after high school and every summer in college. And I loved it. But I didn't know how to be a swim coach or what to major in. And I kind of gave that up as I was in college. And I thought I would do the practical thing, get a business degree in statistics. I thought you needed to be a teacher to be a coach. I tried to be an education major. Funny thing is, I teach my whole life now, but I ended up a business major thinking that was what I was supposed to do. Ended up with a 20-year career in IT, in higher ed IT. I did everything that I wanted to do in that career. I had great bosses and they gave me great opportunities. And then after almost 20 years, it was time to reinvent myself in the IT world again, in my organization. And I just couldn't. I couldn't write a new job description. I think I had hit the wall. I had done everything I needed to do and in that job. And I didn't know that I was going to become or return to becoming a swim coach. And I did, through following a bunch of yeses that scared me to death. But I said yes over and over again to things that led me down a coaching path. And I became a coach. I became a better swimmer because I needed some training to become a better coach. In that, I became a swimmer, a better swimmer, which led me to becoming a marathon swimmer and the coach I am today.
Yeah. And I love how you started that story because that is something I hear from clients all the time. I thought I needed to. I took the practical route. I got the business degree. I got the IT career.
Make some money.
Make some money, right? That financial responsibility. And yet, when you got to that point of that career pivot, you hit that, I just can't anymore.
Yeah.
And so, in that moment, was it a moment of, I can't do this anymore? Or was it kind of a slow burn that led to that career change?
It was the situation around me changed, and I lost the people I worked closely with through they left or needed to leave, and I was left standing with one other person, and we led the organization together, a very large organization together. and I had the IT part and she had the library part. And then one day, and I was not happy at all. And I had all this responsibility. I was the interim leader, but I had real non-interim expectations placed on me. And one day, my buddies that I used to work with came back and had dinner with me. And they both said, Jeannie, you can let go. It's going to be okay. Really, it's going to be okay. And that's when I went home and told my husband that I needed to do something else. And I didn't know what it was, but I couldn't do this anymore. I had to let go.
Yeah, that's powerful, because so many of us sit there and we're not happy. And you were in a leadership position,
Mhm.
and that idea of being able to let it go, so to make room for the new, is
Yeah.
something that's very difficult. So as you made that decision to let go, what were you most afraid of?
Income, identity. My identity was an IT leader. I actually told a dear friend and our friend Susan
Mhm.
that I have no skills. I have no skills. And she's like, you have skills? And I said, nope, all my skills are wrapped up in that IT job. I have no other skills. And had I had a person like you to talk it through, maybe I would have realized I had skills. But here's Susan giving me homework saying, I'm calling you back and you need to come up with 3 things that you can teach the next time, teach or consult on the next time I talk to you.
Yeah,
And yeah, and swimming became one of them. I didn't know what I needed to know or how I would do it. I started with leadership skills and consulting some leadership skills. But I also said, I think I can teach or coach swimming, but I've been out of it for so long, I don't know anything. But that was when I started thinking, maybe I could, maybe.
yeah. And that idea of having somebody kind of outside of yourself who can go, of course you have skills that are transferable, right? Is so critical when you are stuck and need
Yes.
to make that change. And
I really didn't think I had any transferable skills.
yeah, and actually, I talk to a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
But as you were telling, I kind of heard the start of another little zigzag story in your life outside of career. Because you have, in addition to moving into swim coaching, you've also moved into motivational speaking.
Hmm.
But the whole idea of swim coach, you said that you'd been out of swimming, you didn't know if you could swim. And from what I understand, you're a marathon swimmer and have done some really big things, but it wasn't always that way either.
Nope. I am the girl that got disqualified in high school in swimming. It was my sport. I loved it. I was a late onset swimmer. I was in lessons at 8th grade or 7th grade and then joined the swim team in 8th grade and swam in high school. Um, I got disqualified by doing a flip turn and pushing off and landing in the lane next to me, causing interference with the other relay, standing on the bottom, all the things you're not supposed to do. I chickened out of swimming in college because I never went and even attempted to walk on or meet with a coach. I never even had the conversation or tried. I just took myself out of it and said, I can't. And it's okay. I have wrestled with that my whole life that I didn't swim in college, as if it's a big, like, oh, swimming in college is the greatest thing. I swam the English Channel instead. And
Wait, what? You want
uh-huh.
to repeat that again for our listeners that kind of missed that as you went by it?
Yeah, at 55 years old in 2021, I swam the English Channel in freestyle, which was the event I got um, disqualified in. I only swim freestyle now. And I've also completed the Triple Crown of open water swimming, which is Manhattan, around Manhattan, across Catalina Channel and the English Channel. And, you know, I knew I needed, if I, I ran into my son's coach at a funeral of all things, and he said, "We need to get you coaching again." And I said, "I don't know anything anymore." And he said, "Yes, you do." So there's another person that believed in me before I did. And he said, "Meet me at the pool. I'm going to teach you." And I thought he was getting in with me. No, he corrected all my strokes on me. And then I went and he introduced me to a certain type of efficient freestyle called total immersion. I went to training. I felt like an IT person in a swim efficiency week-long class. But I was clearly an IT person in the wrong class. But because I became certified in that kind of freestyle, I changed my own stroke, and the rest is history. I swam 1 mile around a lake in 2010, and the longest I've swum is 17 hours across Catalina Channel and 15 hours across the English Channel.
Wow. Wow. So that
Mhm.
tells us what a marathon swim is.
Mhm.
So when you think about those career zigzags, it sounded like even after you'd already left IT and committed to going to this swim technique training so you could become a certified coach, there
Mhm.
were still doubts.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
What kept you going?
I was on that airplane to Florida saying to myself, "Now you've done it, Jeannie. Now you're really in over your head." And I've been a person that believes in living life. I've climbed the Sydney Harbor Bridge. I, I haven't jumped out of an airplane, but I'm more likely to try something than not try something, and to live life. But this time I was on the airplane going to Florida for training, and I was like, "Wow, you've really done it this time. You've really gotten yourself in over your head." But then a few nights later, and I was in over my head when I got there. Um, I figured out how much I didn't know about efficient freestyle, which is just freestyle, but it's a way that basically the Olympians swim with a lot of efficiency, which then creates speed, and that's why I can do endurance swimming, because my stroke is very efficient now. Um, but a few days later, I remember calling home and saying, "I am supposed to be here, and I'm supposed to know what I'm learning here. I just don't know how I'm going to use it or what I'm going to do with it." But it was self actualization at its best in that little hotel room in Florida. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that I had landed in a place where this is what I'm supposed to teach somehow.
Yeah, that's amazing that our bodies and our instincts will know before sometimes our conscious mind knows what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what would you say to someone who's sitting exactly where you were, ready to take that leap, sitting in that airplane before you knew it was what you were supposed to do?
Well, I realized that I was lucky in that we were a two-income household, and I could step back. Things were not easy. And I had the pressure to build a business and to start making money and to um, replace some of the income. And that has taken a long time. That was the scariest part, really stopping my income stream, which had grown after 20 years, right, of being in the business. So I would tell somebody that, "What are you waiting for?" And, before you know it, you're going to blink and it's going to be retirement time. Um, what are you waiting for? There's chapters, there's opportunities for new chapters. Yes, it's scary. Yes, the money thing is real. Um, but if you really want to follow your heart, there's a way. And just say yes. As soon as you start thinking that there could be something different for you, I truly believe that opportunities start appearing. Like my friend Jerry saying, we need to get you coaching again. Why would he say that at a funeral? But because he did, I said, and he said, call me. And I'm like, I called him. So everything that I have been able to do with swimming, changing my career, becoming a coach, building a business, marathon swimming, and saying yes to swims and being on relays and going into New York waters and then speaking about it. And doing my motivational speaking has all come back to the word yes. You do not have to have it all worked out before you say yes. You say yes, and then you figure it out.
That is so powerful because we're conditioned to always, before I say yes, I need to know what I'm going to do or how it's going to work out.
How are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. You will figure it out. And even if you figure out that you have to go back to what you were, or part-time this and part-time that, or some consulting here and something else there, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And I love, and I wish we had more time, but I've promised my listeners that we keep our episodes short here.
That's right.
So I'd love to talk more about that idea of following the yeses. And I know your motivational, your main talk is what if I can?
Yes.
But speaking of what if I can, you're about to embark on something else big and for a big cause. So would you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that and how we
Sure.
can?
Yes. Very quickly, I will say that I thought at 55, could I swim the channel again at 60? I don't know who thinks about that, but I did. And I booked it thinking it would be a 60th birthday present to myself, and a good challenge to keep me moving. And in the meantime, our family was hit with early onset Alzheimer's, to my husband, Chris, and it's a devastating, devastating disease. Most people don't know there's no treatment or very little treatment, no, not too many treatment options. And so I decided to take my 60th birthday swim and turn it into a fundraiser for my friend's charity called our foundation, research foundation called Clear Thoughts Foundation in Pittsburgh, and founded by a friend and his sister in honor of their father, whom they lost to frontal temporal. And so next week I head to England on the 2nd, and I'm attempting the channel again, sometime between the 7th of July and the 12th of July. And if anybody wants to follow along, they can find the Facebook group Eternal Optimists with the plural. There will be updates on there. And also my website is www.eternaloptimist.me. And there is a banner going across it where you can click and say join the journey, where there's an opportunity to make a donation or to buy beautiful Alzheimer's purple, because June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, purple Eternal Optimist apparel that will also make a donation to the foundation.
So I am continually amazed, Jeannie, at your generosity and your care for others. And so I know that you are stuck in that caregiving role, like so many of my guests are because of our age.
Yeah.
So many of us are stuck in a caregiving role. You not only have aging parents, but you also have a husband who needs very intensive support.
Yeah.
You are in the middle of, you run your own business, you do multiple things, and you're training for this big, amazing swim.
Number 2.
I am so proud of you and so grateful that you were agreed to come onto this podcast.
Thank you, my friend.
And I want to say to those listening, if you heard something of yourself in Jeannie's story, maybe not an English Channel swimmer, but maybe you heard that you go from your current career to an old love that brought you joy.
Yeah.
Or if your body is saying yes to something and your mind is still saying no, or if you are moved to support a cause that hits so many people in ways that we don't even always fully understand or recognize until we're living it, then I invite you to follow Jeannie. I will put her information in the show notes for you. And if your career GPS is saying recalculating, you can come find me at movetojoycoaching.com. And if this podcast helped you, please share it with someone else. I'm Marie Clark, and this has been Recalculating Your Map to Joy. Thank you, Jeannie, and we'll see you all next time.
Friend.
Bye.